Are we there yet? Are we there? Hello?
We're here. Rockin' the love. Rockin', rockin' the love.
Woo!
Okay. Wow. That was real time. It's
You
like,
can tell by my hair. I've been through it here. Woo! A rough morning there.
what a journey. But we're here. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil.
And this is Rockin' the Love. We're so glad you're here. Amidst our technical difficulties, we knew we had you out there just waiting.
And that is so great. Geneva's already with us. Thank you so much for being here.
Geneva in the house.
In the house.
Beautiful,
international
beautiful.
Audience. That's what fun that is.
Yes.
Woo!
And I'm sure there's more of you out there. So saludos, bienvenidos, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And if you can do us a favor and like us and, check our social media and do all those things, because one day we swear we're going to be on top of it and doing all the things that you like to find when you go to those sites. So if you sign up for it now, you'll be surprised.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes. And we're just grateful that you're here. We are in our last show of the month of May. And this is our 20th show.
Wow.
Woo! Who knew?
It's like our 20th year of marriage.
It's right. Yeah. Yeah. Except we got here faster.
But it was a rocky road, just like getting here today.
That is true.
Anyway, so we like to start out kind of just talking about what, if anything, came through our week from our last show. And we were kind of talking about it in the car. We had Dr. Davina Katolsky here. And we just, it's not that we took anything into our week as much as it was just a great conversation about things going on in the world and just a different way to look at things. So we just really enjoyed it and want to send big shout outs to Dr. Davina.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Davina. Well, I was thinking about the fact that what we ended up talking a lot about, it was, what does it mean to really be ourselves and to see one another as who we are. And I think we said something about that at the end. And how she talked about how she'd worked in the prisons, and she'd done a lot of work with with the unusual concept that actually people can be rehabilitated, with the concept that if we really look at people and work with them, that everyone has potential and value. And that's what we say spiritually. That's what we say out loud, but that's not how we treat people often in our lives, and particularly in our justice system. And so what really, really gets me at this moment is, yet yesterday we've had another huge school shooting. And where is it along the line that we're not connecting with people? We're not connecting with seeing who they are enough that they can be who they're meant to be. I mean, I can't imagine that any of these that have happened over the many years and the many, many, many times, that these are not people that are doing this and feeling great about it. They're not doing it because they've had they feel like they're really accomplishing something in the world, So anyway, so it strikes me that we really talked about this idea last week.
We did. It's interesting. It was interesting timing. And so, I just want to take a moment to really be with that and to send love to Texas, to the school, to the children, to the families, to the shooter, to the shooter's family, to the school system, to all the powers that be. um, just sending love, sending love, sending love.
Hmm.
It's an interesting time we're living in. It really is, because it feels like everything's happening at opposite ends of the spectrums, right? Here we are talking about let's just be love and all of that. And I'm not making light of it, but it feels like a happy thing. And then there's the reality of all that's going on in the world and continues to go on, and all of that. And so I think it feels far apart, but I don't think we're as far apart as we feel. Does that make sense? I think that it's kind of like our 98%. I think there's more, the consciousness is more and more of trying to be that space of love.
I think that idea that, people's actions and the way they show up in the world is either an expression of love or a call for love. And I know that in my spiritual development and seeing the world differently, I've moved to that place where I can really see where, rather than there being rather than it being that there is no love in some places, the fact is that's the best that somebody could do. That's as much love as they could come up with. And my job is to show up as much love as I can, that I might support others in finding that. I have a quote in here that I found this week that just really struck me. They were talking about the ugly duckling. And the ugly duckling, it's at the bottom of the list there, is, the story of the duckling that doesn't fit in, but he's not a duckling. He's a swan, right? And so the statement goes that there was never an ugly duckling, just a beautiful swan that didn't recognize his own beauty. And my sense is that that's what we have. We have not terrible, evil people, but people that don't recognize their own beauty and potential.
Yeah.
And I feel that in myself, not to that extent, but I understand where, at least a level to which that can happen,
Right.
And I'm thinking you may also, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's complicated, but it's complicated. I think, love is complicated. It's good, it's warm, it's fuzzy, and if it's missing, it's horrific. So
we have a couple of comments that we haven't commented on. I just want to say thank you, first of all, for participating. Janice, we appreciate your gracious statement there. And there's a Facebook user, so I don't know your name, says the justice system has never connected with nor recognized diversity.
that's Geneva, from Geneva.
Is that from Geneva? Oh, okay.
She's
okay. Same one. Facebook user.
She's
Thank
the
you.
only Facebook user in my universe.
In my life.
Yeah.
But that's that's what we're talking about. But where does the justice system come from? It comes from us. I mean, we ultimately create this, whatever that system is all of us, and are creating things. And Wayne, thanks for being out there again today. And I just, love-based thinking, I agree with you. It will rise. It will be what supports us in rising.
Yes, and thank God we're all doing it together.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So today we're going to talk about being love. What does that mean?
Well,
It's interesting because I like to Google. So like I just put in whatever I've made up the show title is or anything just to see what comes up. And so when I put in be love, um there's not a lot out there. It's about being in love. It means
Oh,
sometimes it says there's a couple of be love, but it there's no, and like quotes there's no be love quotes. They're all like, I mean, they say be love in them, but it's in the middle of a sentence. Like be love so you can feel, the beauty of who you are, kind of thing. So it was interesting. So I just wonder, like, what is your definition of be love?
well, first of all, we put that out there to all of you. But meanwhile, I will chime in and say that I think to be love means that I have to really be me. I have to really show up as me. Be love doesn't mean be nice. And I say that because I had that experience recently that sometimes love shows up as honesty and offering a vision of something that is hard to look at. But if there's really love involved, then the love takes us and allows us to work with that instead of deny it. And the denying it only makes whatever the other issues are worse.
Yeah, so you're talking about be tough love.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Be willing to be love. In being love doesn't mean you show up in every situation and be nice.
Well, really? Because in some ways, I'm not sure that that's true. I mean, I think that if you being on the receiving end of someone who's being loved, so this is about a marital spat. Just so you know, just so you're all playing along.
Spat.
No, this is about a difference of opinion, that or I don't even know if it's a difference of opinion, but it's a situation that reoccurs. So, and instead, I chose to react to it differently than I usually do. So, when he came expecting the same answer and to get what he needs from the situation, that wasn't what I was doing. I was done with that. I was done with that response. And I was like, sorry, you asked to step up into a different place to play. And if you're going to do that, then I can't support you and be loved the way I was being loved. But I think that I was being loved. I think that you just didn't like it because it didn't feel like what you wanted in that moment. And I say that just to say that I think that being loved, if you're being loved, you are just coming from a place of authenticity, where you are acting in the highest vibration and being authentic and being sincere to what you believe is needed in the moment.
And I'm not going to disagree with you. That's really what I was trying to say.
That's so smart.
Yeah, isn't it though? That's really what I was trying to say. Was it's not about trying to be nice in the moment. It's about being authentic and being real and being present,
right? And
willing to say the things or be the things or act out the things that may not in the moment feel that comfortable to you or feel that comfortable to another person, and yet they are what needs to be.
And a Facebook user is saying authenticity is the foundation. And I think that's true. And I think that you said something in the beginning. You said something about being you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that to be loved, you had to be you or something. I think that's also the core ingredient, because if you can't be you, and by being you, I think that means loving you. If you can't love yourself or show up and know that you're doing it right or feel that you're in integrity, then you can't be loved, right? I mean, and when we look at even, all the situations we've talked about, or, the shooters or the people who have had the backgrounds that are in that upheaval that they go out and create these crimes, it's like there was a piece of that was missing for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They couldn't see themselves. They couldn't be love to themselves, even, because they couldn't see themselves as love.
Yeah, and we don't know, but I mean, we don't know who didn't model love or how it happened.
Right. I mean, I think obviously when you're talking with those kinds of things, there's a multitude of issues possible, and some of them are things that may have happened to them. They may be mental health issues that we don't acknowledge in our society that need to be addressed. There could be various things that cause that belief, if you will, to show up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Wayne says loving yourself is loving God. And if we believe that truly we are simply the representation of spirit right where we are, that means that we are a lot more loved than we think.
Right. Senora Gonzalez says you can't feel the love that others have for you until you can love yourself.
Mm-hmm. And I would agree with Bonnie. That's really true. And I think we go through stages, or not even stages. It's more like a day on the ocean. Sometimes we're at the top, and sometimes we're at the bottom. Of the wave. It moves. It ebbs and flows. And I think for me, the point of my life is to figure out how to ride the wave further each time, and not fall into the trough.
So that's an interesting comment, because I'm not sure I agree with that.
Of course you don't. You're my wife. Why would you agree?
No, but sometimes I agree. No, but I because I don't think I have those days. I don't think. But there's a difference between loving yourself and being at the top and being at the bottom. I mean, loving myself doesn't mean I always like myself.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like kids, right? I mean, my mom used to say to me, I will always love you, but I may not like you. I don't think that ever happened. I don't think she had occasion not to like me. What's not to like? But I mean, no,
we'll call it Joan and ask her.
But seriously, I mean, my love for me, my love for God, my love for my friends and the people in my life and my family is unconditional. I love them. I don't love them more. Well, yes, I do love them more on some days, but it's a different thing. I may love them more, but I don't know that I love them. I don't love them less.
That's interesting.
And I don't always like them. You know who you are.
Yeah.
Or you don't. So don't try to figure it out. No, but you know what I'm saying? And like God, I always love God. Even when I'm angry, even when I'm angry, even when, my parents died or whatever happened, that I was like, really, God? It wasn't a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's.
Well, and even that, is a divorce mean that you don't love someone anymore? No, it means you don't live with them anymore.
There you go.
I mean, I'm just saying it's that kind of. So back to my comment, because of course that's what's really important before we go to Bonnie Gonzalez, unless you want to put her up there right now. It's an ongoing process learning to love myself. And I think that's what I was actually okay, Bonnie. So you were right. That was the perfect comment. That's where I was going, was it's not always a straight through line I go from I don't love myself to I love myself. That it can be a bumpy road. It can be a little up and down. And hopefully I learned to see it more and more and embrace it more and more. That was where I was going.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. It's just interesting. I don't know. Y'all let us know what you think.
Okay, everybody, we are going to continue to rock the love after a short break. So we thank you so much for being here with Rock the Love on this Tuesday, the last Tuesday in May 2022.
Tuesday, where are you?
Thursday in May. No, wait, what day is it? Wednesday? This last Wednesday show of May. I apologize.
You see, it's easy to always love him. You don't always like him. But we'll see you right back here on New Thought Media Network.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And please help us welcome Center for Spiritual Living in La Mesa, California. Thank you for your monthly donation. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, for your most generous donation. And a special thanks to Hefferlin Foundation for your generous technology grant. And Suze Ajit, thank you for your very generous donation. And a super special thank you to Dr. Tracy Brown, RScP. Thanks for being a super donor. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.
Hello, welcome back to Rockin the Love. I'm Robin.
And I'm Gil. And we're happy to be here with you today, the last Wednesday in May. And our theme for May is maybe.
And today we're talking about being love. So we were just talking a little bit about being love, what that means. Can you love yourself unconditionally all the time? Can one be love all the time? What do you think, everybody? Can a person be love all the time?
Yes. Back to my earlier comment, I think so. But meanwhile, Bonnie says, food for thought, this thing called love. Thank you. Have run. Another meeting is called. She has to run. Okay, bye, Bonnie.
It's good to read the comments before you articulate them. Okay.
Okay, Bonnie. See you later. Bye. All right.
Bye. Adios. So, can one be love all the time? I mean, we look at people like, and I know there's controversy about all of these people, but we look at people like Mother Teresa and Gandhi and people that personify the love. Martin Luther King. Could they be love all the time? Or can we be love all the time?
I believe we can and we are love all the time. The question is, how much of that love are we accessing? How much of it are we actually in touch with and offering? How much are we allowing to come through us? You know, when I'm not feeling my best, then I'm stopping a certain amount of love from coming through me, but I can't be anything other than love because that's who I am.
Yes, and that's kind of a technical answer. I mean, then but I mean, we're talking about being love. So I mean, of course, we're all made in the image of likeness of the divine, and the divine is pure love and infinite love, and another word for God or spirit or universe is love. Got it.
Okay.
And what we're talking about is being love. So that means, you know, can we, amidst the things we don't like, can we look at them and love them, or the people we don't like and love them as our brother, as ourself?
I think we can, if you answer it that way, but I don't think we do. I don't think we always. Okay, there's two different things. I think we can in the overall sense when we really get in touch with ourselves, but do we really do it, or is it really possible in every moment with life happening? That I'm not sure about.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder. I too wonder if we can be it all the time.
I think that is where we're headed. I mean, that's for me what the goal is, and I find that the more I can accept and love myself, the more I'm able to love, even when I see things that don't please me, or whatever the deal is, don't fit with my concept of love, and I can see through to the larger picture, see through to the truth of being, of who that is.
Right.
But when I can't see through to the truth of who I am, then I'm not doing well doing that, looking out either, because I feel less than and smaller.
It always goes back to you, doesn't it?
It has to, you know. I'm the only one here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, but when I was thinking about it, I was thinking, you know, can you be love all the time? And I think the answer is yes. I'm challenged by that sometimes, because I think, like, when we hear someone complaining or talking about something they don't like, or what may sound like gossiping, you know, a lot of it, like, I think, like, for myself, I'm speaking for myself. When I find myself in those situations, I check in and see, like, is this necessary? Is this a necessary conversation? Like, you know, because it doesn't always feel great. And generally, what I find for me is that, yeah, it's part of my processing. It's part of my letting go. It doesn't mean that, you know, if I'm in conflict with somebody, again, that I can't love them, or in any given moment I couldn't be there to support them. It just means I'm processing a situation that has occurred, and my human self is really, like, doing the work of letting it go, so that I truly can be more authentic. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't listening. He wasn't listening. Rewind, because you'll be able to tell. You'll see it in his eyes. He wasn't listening. He was busy multitasking.
Which apparently is a oxymoron.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a lot, at least part of that right. So
Thank
okay.
you very much.
Sorry, it was a non-beloved moment. No, I said it very lovingly. Okay, so what? Okay, I'm not gonna. We're just gonna move on to another topic. I'm not gonna try to even.
Wait, I had a teacher in high school that used to say we were maroons rather than morons.
Oh,
Bunch of maroons. I don't know why that struck me, but it did. Okay, there you go. What are we moving on to?
so one of the things that struck me is that to be love, it's a constant act of surrender. I mean, that's what I find for me. It's a constant act of surrender. Even when I hear myself with my story, I mean, a lot of people think I'm quiet. And I think it's because I do a lot of it in my head. You know, I don't need to process by talking to somebody about everything. But I process, and then like by the time comes time to talk to somebody, I'm in a different place. So that's my journey with Be Love. That's what I have to say about it.
All right. Well, I'm going to share what I found from the Tiny Buddha. I don't know if some of you are familiar with Tiny Buddha on the internet, but in my searching, I found this and I thought it was kind of fun. And that are the eight simple things that you need to do to be love in the world. So, want to see what they are? All right, the first one is when you are in a potential conflict or disagreement, ask yourself, does this really matter? And I would say, yes, it always matters. No, that's a really good question. Does it really matter?
So that's the question I should ask you, like in the middle of things?
No, that's the question you should ask you. Don't ask me, ask you. But it is hard sometimes to realize that we're just holding on to some kind of power, control, something that.
Can you speak from the eye?
I think you're holding on to power, control. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Sorry about that, folks. We diverge. But yes, I find it that there are times when, yeah, it's I can even tell when it's not important and I still want to hold on to it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can tell when you think it's not important and you just keep it in there for the sake of keeping it in there. No, it's true though. I mean, I think it's true for everybody though. We all have these tactics that keep our patterns in place. I mean, they're patterns.
Yeah.
They're patterns. They're life patterns. They're patterns probably the same way you fought with your parents or a sibling or, you know, well, in your case, a first or second wife. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I think that it's really important. I mean, it's that to recognize what do you really want in that moment?
Yeah. What's really important? What's the point? And what am I, I think for me, it's like, what am I fighting for? Why am I choosing not to be loved in this situation? Because somehow I'm afraid I'm going to lose something. I'm going to be seen as less than. I'm not going to show my macho. I don't know. It's any and all of the above.
Well, I think it's part of the ingrained culture of being right and winning.
And do we want to be right or do we want to be in relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while Wayne is having a conversation with himself, he does say in there full-time crazy. And I think that's what it makes you when you're fighting for when you're fighting for anything, when you're
Mhm.
fighting for anything, as opposed to really trying to get information from the situation and to learn a way of being.
Or to just be safe in the world. I mean, I'm fighting to teach people how to drive, and it doesn't work because I want to teach them, and they're in a different car at a different time, and they don't. It's not going to work.
Yeah, in traffic, when you make that a thing.
Yeah, and you know that when that comes up, it's like, what am I really doing? What is the real point? Is there a point? Is it important? No, it's not important. What's important is that we're all safe and get to where we're supposed to go.
Right.
That's what's important.
And the truth of that situation, like if you have any of you have tendencies to like get upset while you're driving or talk to the other drivers and tell them how to drive, or why are you doing that, or why did he cut me off, and try to figure it out. The truth is, you'll never know. You will never know the answer. And you know, I live with a man who wants to know answers. So, but I've learned to just listen to the process. But I mean, even yesterday, somebody sped up and slowed down and did something, and he's like, "Oh, why are they doing that now that I'm here? I speed up and they speed up." I'm always like, they're not thinking about you. They don't have any idea of the things you're paying attention to. They just don't. But he's got a whole story.
It's all about me.
But the month is about B.
Oh, okay, B,
Not me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. So what else does the tiny Buddha say?
Tiny Buddha says, take some time out. Get away from the situation and let your emotions calm down. That's one way you can be love in the world. So when you're not being loved, step aside. Take a minute. Breathe. We all say that. We tell our kids to take a time out. Do we do it? Good question. Put yourself in the other person's place. How would you want to be treated? Well, that's straight out of Scripture. Straight out of biblical scripture, that we treat others as we would like to be treated, right? As ourselves.
Do unto others.
Yeah. See each person as in your, and I like this one. This is an interesting one. See each person in your life as young, vulnerable, helpless baby. And so if we see everyone as that helpless baby, what do we do when we're in the presence of that helpless baby? We do anything for them, right? We do anything. We snuggle them, we hold them, we clean up their messes. we make them food. We do anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We simply are there to be who we need to be for them. Now, I don't know how much that always supports people, but I can see where often, if we could let ourselves come to that place of love first, that we would find a way through much easier. What do you think?
Probably. I was thinking while you were saying that I think that's why, not that we can put any of these disasters in an order of importance, but I think that's why it's so painful sometimes. So much, I say more loosely, but more painful when it's in elementary school.
Right.
Because it's like, really? It's an elementary school. Not that each life isn't equally as important, but I mean, somehow you feel like kids don't have anything to do with it, or any stand a chance, or how could they have possibly, done anything to deserve it. Again, deserve is in quotes. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what that brought up for me.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, number 5. I'm going to share this. Look for the highest good in the other person.
That's good.
That's good. That's good. And I think see the highest good. I mean, I think when we can see through and see what the truth is of that person, we can see them as a beautiful, whole, complete person.
You know who does that really well?
Who?
One of our listeners, John.
Ah,
John is one of those people that if you go out with him anywhere, he sees the best in everyone and he'll tell them about it. He will stop them and say, what you're wearing is such a great outfit, or you have the most beautiful eyes, or you are the sweetest, I mean,
that was so helpful.
yeah. And I mean,
and they weren't even helping him, they were helping somebody else.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, he notices and acknowledges and is present to what's happening and finds the good in everybody and everything.
Yeah. Okay, number 6, learn from any experiences where relationship has deteriorated. Ugh. What do we know about that? Relationships that have deteriorated. We've all been in those, right?
Yeah, I think learning from experience, just watching people and watching, what others do and how that's not the way that you would have done it. And just really learning. It's not about judging even. It's just about acknowledging and seeing the possibility, like, or sometimes we see ourselves in others and we didn't think that we did it like that. But then we see ourselves and go, oh,
Hello.
yikes, and I think it's again, it's a constant journey of authenticity and surrendering and, acknowledging the good, the bad, and the ugly, because it gets ugly, folks. I mean, it's yeah, I don't know. Spiritual growth is challenging at best.
Well, what strikes me about that is can I instead of, I think of either relationships that are broken for a while, or maybe they're just broken. But can I look and go, okay, like you said, where am I in this? What's my part? Rather than just say that person's an idiot, which is the easy, yeah, well, so-and-so, they did me wrong. And it's like, okay, yeah, well, is that really the truth of the relationship? If you really look at it, what can I learn from it? Or maybe they really did, quote, do you wrong, but what can you learn from that? How can you learn to be more present and better equipped to not set yourself up to have someone do that? I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still about what can you learn. And the more you can learn, the more you can be in love in the world.
Yeah, and it's not always looking at how did they do you wrong, or what you can learn from that. But there's other questions you can ask, like, what's showing up there that you don't like, and how does it show up in your life? And just being aware it's not always just the situation at hand. Sometimes you may find similar qualities or something that sparks another situation,
Okay, number 7, look for guidance from your mentors and people you look up to help you resolve any relationship issues. Okay, that was quiet. Any thoughts? Do we look to people? Do we have people we look to? Do we have examples of relationships? Do we have examples of people? Do we have people we go and talk to and ask for advice? I think all of those things are interesting.
Yeah, they are interesting. And when I relate them to us, I think they're super interesting, because when Gil and I got married, we invited the people in our lives that had been married the longest to speak at our wedding about, what has kept their marriage together so long. And there were people They were all in our family, our siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, dad, all of those things. And it's interesting because I don't think we really do. I mean, we did for our wedding, but we don't really go to people or mentors, you and I, just not
Particularly
the general
others
public.
in relationship.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's a good one to look at. Wow. Okay, number 8. The most important thing of all is to have a life mission to bring more love to the world. How many of us have a mission or an idea of what we are called to do, what we are about doing, that that we keep an eye on, keeps us moving?
And I think that goes to your purpose and, authentic loving yourself and all of those things.
So if I can be love to myself, then I can allow myself to feel worthy to do some of those things that I know I need to do. That's kind of where I come from. I think we really start there. Robyn is trying to plug her computer back in. I think it's okay. We'll make it.
Can you talk to them, not me?
No, it's so much more fun. Well, so thank you so much, everyone. We are going to take a short break.
What? No, we are not.
We are not taking a short break because she doesn't want to.
No, we're not, because we don't have a lot of time, and we're gonna just finish,
and we're gonna skedaddle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So so we both talking about people who we thought was being love in the world. We talk about having a segment on this show at some point that we want to do, who's the big love rocker of the week kind of thing, and we have all different ideas of who's out there rocking the love. So this is about being the love. So who did you come up with? We said 3 people. Who did you come up with?
I didn't come up with any. I don't have any.
And we're good for the week? No, just kidding. What do you mean you don't have any?
I mean, I didn't come up with any.
You can't. Oh my God. I had like so many that I just didn't even write them down. I was like, oh. All right. So I'm going to tell you about mine. The one that comes to my mind first is a little girl. And I know that she is a symbol of many children and people out in the world that that do things all the time. But I think her name is Lucy. I can't remember now. And she was 11. I think she was 8 with the pandemic started, or 9. She's 11. And, she started by making love blankets for people during COVID and giving them out. And her and her mom, and they made all these blankets, and then people started donating money for them to make it and give. And then she started making masks for all the workers. And I know that, this is over 2 years in, right? And this is everybody's heard these stories, but it's like, when I hear kids do things like this that are so selfless, I'm like, oh my God, it's so pure. And it's just this expression. It's not like, I want to do this to make $1 million and buy my Lamborghini. That's what I hear in our house from our kids. But, but kids that are just like giving it away and being so present to that. That's one of that was my first. She's my first one. And then I was like, then my second one was Oprah. And I was like, yeah, but Robyn, you don't really know like what Oprah does when she turns that camera off. Maybe and I had to like judge it. But then I was reading this story about her. I don't know if you all remember. I guess it was about 15 years ago, when she had that problem with the beef company, because she was an advocate for getting all those drugs and things they used of the beef, and and they were suing her, and she was in court, and all of this stuff was going on. And she told this story about when she was walking into the courtroom one day, this woman came up to her and handed her a matchbook, like the kind you used to get in restaurants when people smoked and things, and on the inside of the matchbook, she wrote, "Hang in there, I'm praying for you." And Oprah said, oh, it gets me teary. Oprah said that, she never saw the woman again. She never heard from the woman. She doesn't know the woman's name. But to this day, until, her dying day, she carries that because it really was that place of strength. And I think like that woman is being loved. I mean, it wasn't about, oh, Oprah, can you sign this for me? Or it was really just about that human compassion of connecting and being with somebody.
Those are big. Those are big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are great examples of being love in the world. And how many of those stories have we heard that people have described as an angel showing up?
Yeah.
And because they never saw them again, or they didn't know who they were, or whatever. And when we're willing to show up for people without needing to be recognized,
yeah,
that is pretty powerful.
And
that's pretty powerful.
And then I think the last one I thought were teachers. Teachers that really go into schools every day and show up in that way for kids, and I'm around a lot of kids, and I pick up kids at school, and I watch their teachers, like how they bring them out into the playground, and just that commitment to really be with it. I mean, I teach one class, and after an hour going into the next class, I'm like, oh dear God, please, please, I gotta go. I mean, because it's a lot of energy. It takes a really special person to be that even keel and that love that they need and that they will take on into their years of school. So those are my beloved people. So as we go off into the week, we hope that you'll take away something. And just look at where you're being loved. And, the whole premise of our show is to rock the love, to always be able to go back to that place of love, no matter what the situation is. And there are a lot of situations, if y'all need to practice being loved, just turn on the news and see what you can do, because the more that we can be love and react from that place, the more love there's going to be in the world.
So I think a great exercise is to see where you are being loved, because that's a way of supporting yourself and remembering that is the truth of who you are. That is who you can be. That is possible for you. It's not hard. I mean, it may be difficult, sort of, but it's not impossible. It's not out there. It's, you do it. You just may not recognize it.
And you are it. You are it. You can't be anything but it. So sometimes you just have to breathe and remember that. Take your time out, your moment, breathe, and remember it. And Wayne says, surround yourself with that golden bubble of peace. And I think that's a great image and something that you really can do. Just surround yourself and know that it makes a difference. It really does. It makes a difference. So I'm so grateful to have had Geneva here in the house, and Mexico and Calgary, and all of our friends from all over. If you enjoyed this show, please tell your friends. And if you want to exemplify being love, please feel free to visit our thought page. Our page where you can think and donate to ntmedia.org/donate. And we really do appreciate it. And it really is supporting all kinds of good work in the world. And we have so much more coming up for you. So many more exciting things that we've been talking about for our listeners. So, please stay tuned and be part of it.
So we will see you next Wednesday. It will be June already.
It'll be June.
Woo!
And June is Pride Month. So we will see you and we will celebrate with you. So in the meantime, rock the love, y'all.
Come join us. We love you.